Ladies and gentlemen,
Yes, sir.
this is, I believe, the 18th installment, right?
18th, you know.
Yeah, look at me. I be remembering shit.
Yeah, you get on your P's and Q's.
For real. This is the 18th installment in the problematic gentleman. I'm drunk, man.
This is
It's gonna be one of them shows,
This
man.
a wine episode. Wine night, you know what I'm saying?
No, I'm the DD. I'm taking this nigga home.
It's been a little snow, you feel me? I got a little smaller car, so I couldn't even drive, had to get picked up. But this is gonna be a good night. This is gonna be a good night, good episode.
Yes, sir. Y'all know the vibes. Like I said, episode 18, at least I called that out. The Problematic Gentleman Podcast. You already know the vibes. We got two good topics. Actually, like the topics today will be very introspective. That's the term. That's what I'm saying.
D word.
Big word.
You know what I'm saying? We're gonna get a little serious with these here, speak to some things y'all might not have heard about us yet. So two topics as usual.
As usual.
You know the vibes, you know what we get into. So fellas, y'all ready for this first topic that I'm about to bring on y'all?
Yeah, man, I'm ready for it, bro.
So, first topic of the night. Does the social conscience of your significant other matter to you? Something a little different here. You feel what I'm saying? So we're gonna get into a different bag here.
Yeah.
So, I'm gonna start off with the question and walk into it. Do you feel as though your significant other, somebody you're dealing with, when I say significant other, with this one here, let's not focus too much on like the idea of a slide or some chick that you just casually seeing, somebody that you really care for. Does it matter to you for your significant other to have like a social conscience, certain things that are like certain social matters that mean something to them? You know what I'm saying? Like, whether it be the Black Lives Matter shit, politics, you know, motherfuckers going crazy with Trump, you know, he's not in office, things of that nature. Something that really means a lot to the society situation. Do you feel as though that type of shit matters to you? You want to go first, B?
Sure. I want to say I kind of keep it at arm's length. Like, it's 50-50. It just depends on how immersed you are on one side or the other. Like your political affiliation doesn't bother me. I don't care if you're red or blue, conservative, liberal, Democrat, Republican. That doesn't bother me. Like, you can be on either side of the spectrum, and it's like I respect your views. It's just more so like I want you to be socially conscious to an extent. I'd rather not you just be like this hollow potato and not give a fuck about anything. Like have something that it don't even have to be that you're passionate about, but give a damn about something that's other than yourself, a cause or something that you care about other than like just what you go through on a day to day. And it's just like that lets me know that you can care about something outside yourself. Yeah. Like not even just being a person, but step outside yourself and be like this cause means a lot to me. This group means a lot to me. I'm affected in this way by whatever power structure. Just let me know where you stand with those kind of things. Not like you're seeking approval from me, but it's always good to hear that. How can I put it? It's always good to get that back and forth from somebody when you're getting to know them, see where they are, see where they stand with things.
That's actually a good way to look at it. So you kind of almost like you use that to a degree, like we always speak to this on the show, like a vetting tool in a way, just to kind of see. Because that's important. Like a lot of it does kind of let you know if a person can actually be not too shallow and care for things outside of themselves. Right. That type of shit.
I kind of agree with B on this one.
For real?
Like, I want you to be able to express how you feel about the situations with me. We talk about them. Now, if we disagree on them, that's not something I would look away from. Like, all right, you feel a certain way, I'm not going to fuck with you to that extent.
Except if you're a coon.
Say it again?
If you're a coon.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
That's a different type of lifestyle.
That's on the very far side of the spectrum.
But I do want you to have at least a belief or a value or something. Whatever, like you said, whatever it is, Black Lives Matter, cops, whatever it is, I want us to be able to talk about it and identify it. Me being a black male, I want you to be able to identify that it's the potential that if we do have black kids, it's something we got to talk about. So looking at it like that, with something I'm taking serious, I want you to be able to be identifying the problems, if it's problems or something that you don't agree with.
Or that affect your community or something like that.
Yeah, you know what
at the end of the day, I'm more so about community based. Things that affect your community. I would hope that you care about them.
Exactly. So if we can talk about them and talk about them the right way, I feel like that matters more to me than just if you like, I'm Black Lives Matter. And then I'm like, all right, well, let's talk about it. And you like, Black Power.
There's not much to say, like you ain't really got a point of discussion.
You know what I'm saying? Let me start like popping my pussy out there with the
like I want you to be able to have some substance behind why you stand
behind this shit.
That'll matter more to me than just, Black Lives Matter.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Absolutely.
I feel y'all on that. And actually, that's actually a good point. I would say that I would agree. Like, to me, does it matter? I kind of, I kind of agree, but then in the same sense, I don't have the same direct outlook. Like I look at it like I do think that it's important to have social causes and things that matter to you outside of yourself. Because I do think, like B was saying, it's a good way to vet if somebody isn't just directly self-centered and shallow and only concerned with themselves. Because I think in today's world and how we have to go about our day to day, to a degree, we have to be selfish to get by and make way for each other. But
selfish than a motherfucker.
yeah, but at the end of the day, it's like B was saying, like, do you care about things that immediately, like, you know, impact your community, things that you can help, you know what I mean, better certain people in certain situations, things of that nature. Like, I think that it's utilized good as like a vetting tool, like a vetting process for that. But for me, honestly, like dealing with somebody, I guess for me, the way I looked at it, I'm a very reserved person in general. So I don't really, in that degree, like I don't really have too much social causes that I stand strictly directly behind.
Right.
So for me, I can understand one feeling as though they want to kind of isolate themselves from certain things and kind of just enjoy their life for what it is, not really feel as though they have to pick a direction, pick a certain kind of cause to be behind.
Right.
Understand what's going on, have a grasp of like how it affects you, but not really like kind of like intertwine yourself in that shit.
You don't really have to be like looking into it, knowing about it to understand that it affects you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like you can know the bare minimum of something, but it shows that you actually put in some sort of effort and research to figure it out.
You exist in a world where shit goes a certain way. If you act like certain shit isn't skewed against you or things are vying against you as a black person or whatever, or whoever you may date, whatever group it may affect, be passionate. I don't even want to say be passionate about it, but just be conscious of it. Be conscious of your surroundings. Be conscious of your community. Be conscious of what's going on.
You gotta be aware. You gotta be cognizant of what's occurring around you. Because at the end of the day, that shit does drastically affect you. We can sit up here and live in our own make-believe land. Like I'm still just good doing what I want to do. I don't want to pay attention to any of that. It's easy to say that shit until it affects you more and more and more as time progresses, and now you can't even look away from it. Exactly. So it's like it's important to have that outlook. So that's why I would say I think that for me, the person that I'm dealing with, I would like a healthy balance of it because I don't want somebody that's too deep into that shit where it's almost like I can't coexist with them because they have something that they stand tough on that I may not. But then also they can play the other side of the fence and be like, you know what? I kind of have my own outlook in life and what I see for myself, what I want, and I don't really have to follow a cause or organization or a group to showcase that I am who I am. Like I like that type of shit. So that balance of it for me would be important. So wanted to use that as like a warm-up question to kind of get to it. This question here though depends on what you have, your outlooks in life, the thing that you want. Do you feel as though somebody that you're taking, you know, serious consideration of, a significant other, do they have to have the exact same kind of social causes that you care for? Do they have to have, you know, feel the exact same way that you feel about them, or at least care about them in the way that you do?
No. You don't have to care about the social causes that I care for because it's some that I care for more like a personal level. Shit I've been through, shit I've experienced. So as long as I can be able to explain them to you, you can understand it and respect it more in a way. Like we can talk about it, you can see why I feel a type of way about it, and then we go from there. I'm cool with that. I don't need you to be like, oh fuck this because I fuck with it.
Yeah.
But if you can accept why, and it's not really like a disagreement, because the ones that I do feel certain, I'm strong about it. So if we can have that conversation, and I feel like it just goes with communication with someone I'm taking serious. If you're able to let me communicate, we talk about it, and whether we disagree or we agree, that conversation is important.
At least it there, yeah.
So we can have that conversation and then just be able to move forward from that, and that'd be cool.
So it doesn't, you don't look at it, they have to have the exact same outlook.
They just gotta be able to take how I feel about it into consideration when they make their decision.
That's important. That's a good way to look at it. If you think it be.
I'm on the side of like more so than what Mike said. You don't have to take up, you know, the cause that I want to take up. Because let's just say I'm partial to, I don't fucking know, drunk driving, or like people who are victims of drunk driving, or whatever social cause you may be intertwined with, or the wealth gap, or fucking minimum wage, or the use of medical marijuana. Those could all be causes you could take up. You don't have to be like, oh, I want to take up, or you shouldn't feel inclined to have to take up the causes that I like. But if like I feel like talking to you about it, just, you know, keep an open ear and listen. But you don't have to feel the same way I do, because it's like if I'm a person who used to make minimum wage and then I'm vying for, you know, the minimum wage gap to be increased, but you've never made minimum wage, that may never really hit you like that.
Right. You might have a different outlook on it completely.
Yeah, so and you also may be like, well, you can, not saying you being on either side of the fence is a bad thing, but it's like you don't have to be on the same side as me for me to still want to fuck with you. You can still be a good person I'm attracted to, that I like, that we have a good dynamic with, and us not agree on the same social causes. Well, I ain't gonna say all, but us not agree.
It is some.
Yeah, it's
something that you gotta have.
Yeah, that's a fact.
We don't even need to sit up here and talk about it.
That's a fact, nigga. But like certain things, like it may not touch you the way it touches me. So
right.
You just, you know, having an open ear and listening, that's good enough for me. We can talk about it, and you still don't have to, you know, take up the same mantle as me, and we can still move along perfectly within a relationship.
Okay, all right. So yeah, and the funny thing about this shit is because when, like, I don't look at us as motherfuckers that like have something that, like, well, I'm more so speaking to, like, let's utilize the example of politics. Like, none of us here sit stout in something of a politic background. Like, I gotta do this or I gotta do that.
Yeah.
I think
I
think people that have their feet completely down on it, 10 toes down, and they stand stout on something, they would look at this completely different than we would.
Yeah,
I think because we feel as though we can be so fluent with our expectations and what we see in life and like the different kind of social causes that we care for, it makes us easier for us to be fluent with the people that we see as well, and have the expectations, as long as they have, like you said, lending an open ear, they listen, they're open to having an actual active conversation. Like that type of shit is important. Because it's going to be different things that you're going to feel differently about that I may not understand. And, you know, it's going to be two different completely things. So for me specifically, bro, like I look at it like there is a core value of things that I would like for you to understand, more so speaking to the ones that I go through and have to deal with on my day-to-day basis as a young black man, that who I'm dealing with. And I speak to this in a different way, I guess, to a degree. I mean, we've all dated white women, but I mean, let's be real, y'all know me. Right. So it's like, at the end of the day, I always take into account, you ain't got to have the same outlooks on me, but outlooks on it as I do, but understand what I would go through on my day-to-day.
Yeah, because I was going to ask that. Like, for me, I haven't really took as many white women, or whoever you want to call them, Caucasian women, as serious as you have. Yeah. So when I go into a situation with a female, we already understand what I go through as a black person.
Yeah,
that's true.
Is it different for you? Not different. Obviously, it's a different dynamic. But how do you handle that dynamic? Like, I'm a black male with it. Most of the time, I talk to white females. That's your bag.
Yeah.
So how do you handle that dynamic?
Honestly, it's not something.
Often.
I feel like, not for me specifically, not really. Like, I think it's something that you figure out about a person through general conversation.
Right.
Like I said, a lot of times, and I've said this on I think prior episodes as well before, like dating white women, I've noticed that some of them look at it as the direct fetish, something that they want to speak and feed themselves directly into, like, oh, I like this, the flesh of this. Yeah. You can tell a difference between that type of bitch and the bitch that's actually just, she's into you, she actively dates and is open to, like, you know, finding something serious, but she might just happen to have a preference in black men. But that doesn't stop her as who she is as a person. But that bitch is just fetishizing for you and just wants some black dick. You see that from real.
Yeah,
so the general, you should. The general conversation that's had between me and that person, I'm able to pick up on it from there. Like, I never really feel as though I have to go out of my way to kind of speak to that shit.
You don't have to do the jump from CB4 where Alan Payne was like, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm really black, and I'm black. Yeah,
I ain't gotta do all that. Because a lot of times, if I'm standing that stout on it, depending on how much she into me, she gonna just kind of feed into whatever she feels though makes her look better in my eyes. Yeah. So you don't want to be that stout when you go into the approach. Even though I feel that way about myself, I'm gonna express it through my day-to-day actions and when I'm interacting with her. Anyway, she gonna pick up on it like, oh, he a proud black man. He proud of who he is. You know what I'm saying? She gonna be able to pick up. I ain't on no cool shit. I'm gonna call shit out. I speak to things. So it's like, for me, I've never actually had to really do too much betting with that, bro. It always came natural. And I mean, the thing about you though, B, with that specifically, because like I said, you obviously know you dated white women as well. And you are more of a conversationalist when it comes to getting to know people. Like we talk about it all the time. Like with certain things that I haven't figured out a bunch of I'm dating, I'll talk to Brandon about it. Like, well, have you spoke to her about this? Have you given her opinion on that? Like, what about this? So you open conversation a bit more than me. Like, do you feel as though that's something that you speak directly to when you do
in the dynamic where I have dated a white chick before, the social construct shit, I'll give you an example, like the bitch.
I'll give you an example.
The brother I did for a little bit. I said that. You ready? You want to say bitch?
Nah, bro.
You got it, King.
The broad that I did for it was like over a summer a couple of years ago. She was a teacher, and she worked in Philly, and she was like a math teacher, but she worked in the inner city of Philly, which was primarily black and Hispanic kids. So she would always make sure she would go out of her way to talk to them about like the prison industrial complex and the kind of traps they set against young black kids in what is it? What kind of cities are those? Metropolitan cities.
Yeah.
Metropolitan cities, and just kind of like try to avoid the traps, or be aware of the traps that they set you up for, the school to prison pipeline. She was showing the shit like the 13th Amendment and shit. And I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
And I wasn't taking I wasn't taking her serious, and I was wasting her time, but I shouldn't have done that. I was terrible for doing that.
You being honest about this.
But look, I come here to wash my hands clean. So it's like, I was wasting her time. I didn't really see a future where it was just, I was bored. Right. But she was a nice person. She was a nice person, and I respected the fact that her being a white woman who came from a rural area, she took the time to educate herself. And as a teacher, because that's big, because there's a lot of racism in the school industrial complex, the prison industrial complex.
100%, yeah.
So it's like I appreciated that as a woman was Caucasian, that made it her point to show these kids that there are things that you have to look out for and to try to avoid, and that you are railroaded into a system that is there to crush you. So it wasn't so much a conversation because facts. You're a good person. I was wasting time, but. Like I
was serious about you.
Yeah, I thought that was cool that she made it a point to teach these kids the kind of things to avoid. So
and that's why I said it's just like in that kind of scenario, just to piggyback off of what he said, it probably wasn't even almost like you had to have too much active conversation. I'm sure you had generally as time progressed, but like that in itself stands out enough to her know that she's a Caucasian woman and she got down like that and she understood the importance of letting the kids that she taught day in and day out know about that, especially within that city. Well, in the city realms, like low poverty, like you said, black kids, all that type of shit, the Puerto Rican kids, Hispanic kids, like they set traps up for us, and that's within the schooling system, a lot of that shit is not told. I wasn't taught anything that I should have been taught about as a young black kid in school.
Texas.
But see, that's the thing. And I'm not trying to get on a tangent, but when niggas say shit, I wish they'd have taught me taxes, and I wish they'd taught. Nigga, you can go on YouTube and learn that shit in 5-10 minutes. I wish they'd taught me stocks.
But as a kid, though, that's the shit.
It would have helped. It would have helped, and it would have been beneficial. And they should teach it in schools. They should teach that shit, like those world life type of skills in school.
Right.
But my nigga, if you 26, not saying you, but if you 26, 25, 30, talking about, man, why didn't they teach us this? You know you can go on YouTube right now.
That's true.
You too busy looking at the silhouette challenge. But you don't want to look at
But see, when I said like, I'd rather be 21 going into like, all right, I gotta start doing taxes and knowing about shit like that. Finding out about that at 14, 15, like when you become
an adult,
it's
a different
story.
Like you're like this, for instance, and that's something that it's funny because as you're a kid, when you're a kid, you don't really understand how you absorb information and how you're taught certain things as a kid and how you soak it up completely different as an adult. Like for instance, when we was, I don't know, in fucking grade school, 1, 2, third grade, 4th grade, was taught a different language, we would be fluent as fuck.
Oh yeah, because when you're younger, that's when you can soak it up the best. That's why they say when you have kids and they're in school, it's best to introduce a language to them when they're like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Yeah.
Because you're a sponge at that point. As you get older, it's not impossible. Obviously, it's not impossible.
And that's why I gave a point what you're saying.
Right, it's harder to retain. It's harder to retain as an adult or a young adult or a teenager because when you're a child, you're more impressionable, you're more inquisitive, and you're just so ready to soak up knowledge that it's easy for you to internalize.
Once you start learning shit, you get older, you like, man, I'm gonna fuck about that.
Bro, I fell for it.
You always find a reason to not give a fuck about some shit. But being right though, to a degree, like we say that and it's easy to say that, and I think it wasn't important to be taught that type of shit in school. But motherfuckers, all you gotta go is YouTube.com. It's all kind. I teach myself random shit when it comes to like YouTube.
Bro, I don't know if it was Elon Musk that said it like a week ago. I saw the clip maybe a week ago, but it was like, you don't need college for anything. You can learn everything for free. Now, there's validations that you need if you're trying to excel into certain venues and estuaries of power. But it's like, if you're just trying to learn things, if you're trying to obtain knowledge, you can learn the shit for free. Mm-hmm. But there's validations, and really like college and shit this ain't a college show, but like when college gives you validation to say I've done the work. Doesn't necessarily mean I know everything, but I've done the work. Here's my pass to I get it. Yeah. So it's like, but no, the information facts. The information is out there for you to learn, and it is free. The internet is open for 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, bro. This shit not going away from now. So it's just like use it while it's there. So I just like, and again, this ain't directed at you, but when I hear motherfuckers on a large scale say, "I wish we was taught this," it's like, bro, it's never too late to learn. Like,
that's true.
That shit out.
It's all about the commitment that you have towards it and how much you want to actually learn something.
And that's why I said it's a difference from being niggas like, yeah, I wish I knew how to do taxes, and then they just turn their computer off and go back to sleep. But being a person like me, like, damn, I actually do this now, and I've learned it at 22, 23. Like, bro, I learned about fucking geometry and
AX not applied
AX plus B plus C squared.
Was it Y equals MX plus B?
When I was in 8th grade, like, I could have been learning about some real life shit, like a mortgage, rent. Like, I learned that shit as an adult. Like, yeah, you gotta do this then. I'm like, damn, alright. But it's like, if you'd have taught me that in high school or in middle school, instead of being like, yeah, we're gonna teach y'all about like
George Washington,
octagons and obtuse triangles. Like, what the fuck I didn't know about IQ and
George Washington had wood in his teeth. He didn't have wood in his teeth. He had slave teeth, nigga.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
And that's what I'm saying. Even the shit that you taught us was a lie.
Yeah.
So that's just the game, the way things go. But get into the other question here. And I mean, I feel like because of the answers that y'all provided so far, they all seem to be very open-minded. I think y'all kind of understand like it's important to not have just one outlook on something. So it's kind of interesting to see where y'all might go with this. Do you feel as though there are like certain social causes that somebody you're trying to see or somebody you're interested in might be into that you would view as a deal breaker? Like, do you feel as though there's causes that would just be a complete deal breaker where I'm not fucking with that at?
The only deal breakers for me personally is anyone that have to deal with me as a black man in society.
Okay. Talk about it, black
That's
man.
it. Any other ones, like, I don't really give a fuck about what Trump doing and cops being bad and all that shit. Them niggas gonna be bad regardless of the fucking laws. Letting y'all know that now. We gonna have to navigate.
Systematic white oppression is here to stay.
Yeah, like, white people getting one up, all that shit is gonna happen to us until we identify that's the problem. We still like, I don't know why.
And we get on the same page as the people.
Exactly. We fight like, nigga, you light skin, I'm different than you, dick.
Yeah, like, you ain't light skin, you ain't black, you light skin. Like, nah, he a nigga too.
Right.
We ain't fully moved. But
and you biracial motherfuckers too.
Yeah.
Even though y'all niggas,
I'm half black.
Y'all be the most lost. But it's true.
Oh,
damn, nigga. I'm home, bro.
Anything that deals with me as a black man, if you don't see or agree with that or see how that's a problem, then I'm not.
I'm gonna keep it.
That's a significant other. That's a deal breaker.
Always stack. Now, cause I probably like dating wise, like, and I primarily date black women. If I find out you're a black feminist, I'm dubbing you off time. Them some of the goofiest bitches on the planet, by far.
You don't fuck with the feminists?
Not when they're black. I can't. Well, like I said, the woman I'm gonna put time into is going to be black 9 times out of 10. So it's like when you tell me you're a black feminist, like, do you understand what that means? Cause it's like the problem I have.
A black feminist?
Here's the problem with black feminists, right? So the feminist group was started by Margaret Sanger, who is a eugenicist. Eugenics is the creation of good stock, which means like the Aryan shit, the blonde hair, blue eyes kind of shit. So it's like the woman who started eugenics, or the woman who was a part and started the feminist movement, did not have any love for black women. And she's the mother of Planned Parenthood, which is another subject for another day. Yeah. She's the mother of Planned Parenthood. So the problem with her is her mission statement is and I just know this shit. I be going down a YouTube rabbit hole sometimes. But her mission statement was to eradicate the Negro from this planet. And that's the mother of feminism. So I could never get down with a bitch who's on the same team as somebody whose mission statement is to get rid of niggas and bitch you with niggas. Make it make sense.
That's a fair point.
And whenever some shit goes down with black women, feminists be nowhere to be found. When Sandra Bland got murdered, feminists were nowhere to be found.
Right.
When cops be beating the shit out of black bitches, feminists be nowhere to be found.
Nowhere in the picture at all whatsoever.
So,
they don't exist.
And feminists really know that their plight as white women doesn't really equal and isn't really tantamount to black women, women of color in this country. So they can't really like rise on a platform with just being white women because they still have their protection of whiteness at the end of the day.
Right.
So what they do is they incorporate black women, like, yeah, we sister girls together and we fighting for the same rights, but when rights come around, we not really fucking with y'all like that. When time for tangibles come around, them niggas get left in the dust. And
time and time again,
it's like, how do you not see this? There is no sisterhood in feminism for black women. Please understand that. That's why if you tell me you're a feminist and you black, I have to get away from you. I'm sorry.
That's what I said. For me personally,
You're
drunk. I'm chilling. I'm just feeling good. But for me personally, honestly, there are deal breakers, obviously, and I do speak directly to the one that you just named. That's really the only deal breaker for me. If you can't understand my plight as a black man and what I go through on my day-to-day basis, it's just not going to work. And for me, honestly, like I said, it's always easy to vet that because, yeah, do I date white women, of course, but I date black women as well. I date all kinds of women. Like, that's the thing with me. Like, it's not really just one type of woman that I date. I'm just very open-minded. Like I said, I don't know. No, we ain't filmed that. We ain't dropped the episode. But that one time, like I said, it was a perfect example of me. It's like when you at a motherfucking party and they got motherfuckers walking around from the kitchen giving out little like finger food and shit like that.
Yeah.
Like I'm that motherfucker that got a full palette of all kinds. Like I try anything and everything. That's the kind of motherfucker I am. So I think because I am so open-minded with how I date, it allows me to see different spectrums and different kind of motherfuckers. I just know what I'm willing to put up with and what I'm not. Not that I judge you for what you do and what you decide to believe in.
Yeah.
That might just not be for me. Like for instance, when I'm on a dating apps and I come across, I mean, to be quite honest with you, when I come across any white woman that, this might sound extreme, that's not racist, fuck, it's true. If I'm ever to come across a white woman that had, this is funny as shit, they don't even gotta say shit, I just swipe left. But they have like the what's the shit? The fatigue shit.
The fatigue.
I mean, not the fatigue. The fuck the like you know what I'm talking about? Like when they go hunting and shit like that.
Oh yeah, the fatigues.
Camo shit. Yeah. And I see you with some sort of like rifle and you just like this. It don't gotta be no carcasses around. It gotta be that dead around. Yeah, but if it is, swipe left.
Why you swipe left?
Because
I swipe left too, but I just wonder why you.
I see that, and I automatically in my mind think, as a young nigga, that bitch don't understand nothing that I go through. And she would never understand it. It's really not her job to because she comes from a completely different culture.
Completely different culture, bro.
And she has no understanding. How the fuck are we gonna connect? Even if I have sex with you, it's just not going to be what I need it to be. You probably need some weirdo shit that's probably not how I get down anyway.
You know what I'm saying?
Now, when they start speaking to certain things, like I said, the politics part of it is different. Like that's not a deal breaker to me because, like I said, I don't have something that I stand stout on anyway with a party specifically. So I don't look at it that way.
Two wings on the same bird.
I don't look at it that way. But a lot of times when you go out of your way on your profile to explain, you should not go out with me. You should not go out with me if you do not support the police. You're letting it be known. Like I'm trying to get to know you. You're speaking to that being a very important part of who you are. That tells me everything I need to know.
I'm good.
So I swipe left.
You gonna tell me what I have to do before I meet you?
That's why I said a lot of times, because I do all of that vetting before I even really speak a word to a female, in a lot of situations that I've been in, it allows me to kind of maneuver without even having to put myself in a position where I'm not dealing with a woman because she doesn't have those kind of social causes or social outlets that I might have.
You pick and choose those
before we even come sit down at the table. So that's why I think it's most important. Like you want to vet that shit out. We always talk about, like I said, we always talk about this shit on the show. The vet process is so important. You want to be able to know what you're going through and what you're about to get yourself into. So with that specifically, I think that it's easy to kind of pick that shit out, bro. Because some motherfuckers just is so far going on certain things that it's just like I know that who I am as a person does not simply attract who they are, and it would never connect. They will never understand anything that I'm going through.
Right.
So I don't know. For me, like I said, it doesn't. Deal breakers can come into play, but I already got that shit figured out before I even get to that page of the book. You know what I'm saying? So, getting into this next question here, I want to ask y'all: do you feel as though you're overstepping a boundary if you come to a motherfucker that you get to know or a significant other, somebody that you're really interested in, by trying to change certain social causes that they believe in, or would you even put yourself in position to do that if you're trying to take somebody serious?
Me personally, the short answer is no. I wouldn't even because like I said, the only one that I stand on is me going through things as a black man.
Yeah.
So the short answer would be no. But even then, if let's say I'm feeling this shawty and she don't really see that me being a black man in America is a problem. She like, man, y'all equal. I don't
just had just as much of a chance as us.
Exactly. I don't think I'm overstepping. I don't think I'm overstepping the boundary by making her understand why we kind of behind on the 8 ball.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I'll be. What they say back in the day, them crazy people, let me learn you something. I'll be learning her something. I'll be teaching her something, bro. So will I stay with her? No. Mm-hmm. Because you obviously live under a fucking rock.
Yeah, you don't understand.
Like you're obviously not understanding or comprehending anything that's going on in the world.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think I'm overstepping the boundary by explaining to you and helping you understand why the fuck I feel a certain way about me being a black man in America growing up.
Yeah.
So no, I'm not overstepping the boundary at all. You kind of the oddball out in this situation.
Ooh.
I would feel like you're overstepping or you in the wrong if you like, no, it's cool. Black men all good. No.
You like, no, this is the kind of party I want to be at.
Like, you're coming off as disrespectful. Now I have to teach you, and after I teach you, you ain't never gonna see me.
You checking out after that, nigga?
I'm out of there. Because if you, like I said, if you can't see that, we gonna have a long
laundry list of shit that we had. That's a good way to look at it, because like that's what I'm saying. I think doing this is extremely easier for us as black men than it would be for any other type of male that has to date in the field, because we know the worst of the worst when it comes to these kind of social causes and the day-to-day shit that we got to go through. I don't think that, well, I know that a white male doesn't have to nearly even consider like taking it. Yeah, so it's like he might be completely like absent in the idea of social causes and not really know what he's attracted to and what he's not until he runs into it. Like, I really don't like how this motherfucker is. You know what I'm saying?
We already got that going into the.
So we gotta kind of think about that before we even get into the bag of getting to know the person. So I said it's just like for me as a black male, these questions are extremely easy because it's just part of who I am. It's like wired in me at this point. Like
exactly.
A lot of motherfuckers that's not black wouldn't have to really look at it that way. What about you?
I feel like I kind of spoke to it with the last question, but like I said, when I come across a chick and it's some shit I don't like, I'm not. Now I may talk to you about why I don't support what you support, but my job is not to try to win you over on my side. I'm only here to educate the babies, nigga. I'm not trying to. I'm not that.
Gem.
But you gotta look at it like we talking about adults. So it's like, why am I gonna try to save it? Nah, bitch, you going, and I'm not gonna waste my trying to change you. Like if I'm around my little cousin, some kids have questions, they want to talk to me about it, and if they trust me and feel like I'm a knowledgeable enough person to get some game from, I'll tell you whatever you want to know. But it's like I'm not here to educate any fucking adult. Like you pick up the game that you pick up, and if you hear me say some shit, don't trust me, go research it. But it's like I'm not here. I'm not gonna argue anybody down as to why I'm right and you're wrong on a social issue for the most part, and especially in dating. And
right.
I'm had debates with people about shit like that, but it's like in dating, I'm gonna like, nah, bitch, it's just like no, I'm not gonna do that.
You're not gonna beauty. See, I guess this is when B is saying he wouldn't coach a bitch up.
Oh, 100%, because that's not me.
Dumbass word.
That's not me. That's not my job to, dog. If you already have that certain
outlook, coach, but at a certain time.
No. If you have a certain outlook on the world, I gotta get away from you. First of all, I don't go around.
With things in my life.
I can't put a child in that.
Facts.
That baby's in trouble.
Facts.
No, thank you. So it's just like in doing that, I'm not here to educate a bitch in that regard. And I'm sorry, I don't mean to keep saying bitch like that, but I'm not. I do.
Yeah, in this kind of scenario, I can understand.
I'm not here to educate you in that way. It's like if you have something I don't agree with, we can talk about it, but you already let me know you have that stance of being a black feminist. I'm not fucking with you. Mm-hmm. So it's like, because it's like you already have some shit in your head that it's like, and let's just be honest, women are pretty staunch in their ways. I'm not about to try to unroot that from your head. It's much easier to deal with a woman who's kind of on the same wavelength as me.
Yeah.
I find that a much more enjoyable time. Mm-hmm. I'm not about to breathe Marcus Garvey and Kwame Nkrumah and whoever else down your fucking throat till you get bitch. Go ahead.
They not meant to understand that, because if so, they would have probably already tried to open themselves up to that type of idealism. And the fact that they haven't kind of tells you as much as you need to know. Now, if you come to me, and I'm pretty sure you would look at this and agree, if you come to me open to wanting to hear new things and you know that I might be knowledgeable in certain things, then you will be open to that, right?
It depends. I would have to see the extent of how damaged you are.
Be like, if you don't know shit before you met me, fuck you.
No. I'm not saying that. But it's
you
like,
open some doors for
if you wanna like, if you feel as though I'm somebody you can trust and get some game from, because who knows, I might be wrong to you. So it's like, and that's your perception of me. So you might not want to hear what the fuck I gotta say. Mm-hmm. So it's like, if you're open to it, we can talk about it. But it's like, I don't know, out the gate, that just might leave a bad taste in my mouth. I'd much rather deal with somebody who is like close to being on the same wavelength as me as far as social causes. Now, I'm not, as far as certain social causes, because there's some I don't give a fuck about.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fair enough. So for me, I agree in the aspect of like, I'm not really at this point of my life. I think at a younger age, I always took on the idea of trying to not necessarily bait somebody into the way that I think or my way of thinking, but provide the door to be swung open for them to kind of walk into how I feel. I almost view that as a challenge, and it was fun to me. So if you had asked me this years ago when I was young, yeah, I had time for the bullshit, and I cared to actually entertain it. Like, shit, I could kind of teach you something. So let me sit down with me, let's have a conversation. Now, I do think that it is, especially at this point of life, I'm dealing with women of my age more times than not. Like, if you ain't opened the door to yourself on this already, I cannot service you in any shape or form. Like, we're completely far gone. So I kind of look at it, for me, it's just like, that's not something that I would ever put myself in this position of life now. Now, like, it's like I said, certain things in life I'm open to coaching you about, I'm open to sitting down with you, having conversations with. But these are just like core value things. I think when you speak to somebody's core values and who they are as a person, they're going to stick with it regardless of how much they're convinced the opposite way. It's like when you're dealing with, I don't know, a baby boomer, somebody that's older, somebody within the age of our parents. Yeah. There's things that I know that my parents are, not even my parents, I'm not even going to just relegate it to them. People that are of an older age, I might work with them. Right. Shit that I know that I'm more knowledgeable in and I can help them understand some things, but they look at it like, that's cool and I know you probably got that on me, but you young blood.
That don't mean a motherfucking thing though, because I had these conversations.
Any situation where someone say, young blood, I know it's
but I ain't like, we saying the young blood thing, because I ain't, motherfuckers. Whatever they say. Motherfuckers that say, because I've had these conversations with my parents, with my grandparents, and my parents' grandparents. My family know who I am. Yeah. But it's just like, when you try to talk to them sometimes, older people, not just, my parents and grandparents, but it's like they come up from a place of, well, I'm older, so I seen this. That don't mean that. I've been on this planet almost 30 years. You 50. Well, my grandparents maybe 70, 75. It's like, that's cool, but how much do I have to see to have a real opinion about how this world works? How I have to be old? Oh, how old I gotta be for my opinion to be respected? I'm not saying they don't respect my opinion, but that's just older people in general. Yeah. They think because you're so young, you haven't seen it. It's like, my nigga, I ain't had to drink from McCullough's only would have found the this shit.
It's a different point of life at this time. Yeah. You went through what you went through for us, and I highly appreciate it. Thank you for everything that you've done. Niggas didn't do good. That's what I'm saying. I don't think I could have lived in them times, bro, because I had to split somebody's wig. I'm gonna keep it real. Yeah. I had to split somebody's wig and then waited for mine to be split afterwards. Like, fuck it, nigga. I just get goddamn. I couldn't get down like that. So that's what I'm saying. It's like, I look at, in that very stout way, like we speak to people of an older age that just kind of have a certain outlook.
That nigga doing the selfie with the whites on the wood front, like
just cause and habit. Like, I can't sit still and watch shit like that occur. But that's what I'm saying. It's just like, I use that as a comparable because it's like a lot of people, women that I'm going to date, actively date, that's their way of thinking. That's who they are, and I appreciate it. I understand it and I respect it. Even if it is some bullshit that I don't believe in, you stand stout on it. Like, I've seen you say plenty of times when you was like, because you made valid points. When Trump was in office, you was like, shit, at least this nigga up front as to who he is and what he do.
Like, look, I have no ties to any political affiliation. Biden, Kamala Harris, Donald Trump, I don't give a fuck. You give a fuck about me. What I appreciate about Donald Trump is his blatant ignorance and his open and upfront racism. Don't hide your racism.
So you know what you're doing with it.
You know what you get.
This nigga said, look at my African American. That's like one of my favorite videos. That shit funny as hell.
Bro, it's just like, when I see that, this is why, like, this regime, this next 4 years is going to be weird, because it's like, we're going to go back to passive racism, and I hate that. Like, I'd rather have upfront racism so I know how to deal with motherfuckers. Mm-hmm. Trump empowered a lot of racists to be who they are and out front. Mm-hmm. And obviously, that's not a good thing.
And they're going to go right back in the high.
Yeah, that's not a good thing, but I respect the fact that motherfuckers revealed themselves to who they actually are. So like, I know to get away from you. Now we gotta go back to these blue motherfucking dumb liberals where it's just like, hey Negro, come on, be with us. No, bitch. Like, I know you don't fuck with me. You just trying to smile your way around and be nice and do a bunch of pacifist shit around. I know you don't fuck with me. So it's just like, I'd much rather deal with a motherfucker who's going to not fuck with me straight up to my face and really just avoid me because I'm black, as opposed to this pacifist mindset where it's like, this bussified liberal shit that they put.
Yeah, you gotta sit and not that you even necessarily have to sit and contemplate where they stand. You kind of know it, but you just gotta play to a degree. You gotta play along because I never want to. If you're doing that and I kind of call you out for who you are, I'm just an angry black man at that point.
Because you're dealing with the wolf in sheep clothing, and then you're dealing with the wolf.
Yeah, I can yell at the wolf.
I see the wolf 100 miles away.
If I need to get down and ugly with the wolf, I can do that because that nigga's a wolf.
But the sheep is like, no, I'm a sheep.
I'm not racist, but I am, nigga.
Like,
you know what I'm saying? So it's a different outlook. But yeah, that's why I said, bro. In that kind of scenario, that coaching shit just kind of go out the window for me. I'm big into coaching to a degree. You got to understand certain things.
Niggas the offensive coordinators. They not hating.
None babs.
These niggas like, yeah, with the whole team.
You know, Mike, in this scenario, nigga,
yeah. If y'all would have been like, yeah, if she coached me, I'd have been like, all right.
Yeah, you probably I'd have gave you 100% credit to laugh for something.
You kill us on that one, bro.
But yeah, I'm not getting down like that. If you are who you are, I accept who you are. I'm gonna go by my business. Either I'm gonna fuck with you, I'm not gonna fuck with you.
But I feel like I should be able to have that decision.
Yeah.
I feel like
you're taking my power of choice.
Me being able to make the decision to choose to fuck with you because of how you feel about social constructs shouldn't be taken away. Like, oh, I feel like this nigga, you can't. I should be able to walk away.
Especially as a black man. Because there's certain things, like I said, if I take that shit into account. If I end up with a white woman long term and I'm in that scenario and that's who I'm with and that's like my mother, my child and all that shit, I gotta know that person that I'm dealing with is capable, you know what I'm saying, to understand the plight that I go through and understand when it comes to sitting down my son and my young daughter about what they're gonna deal with on a day-to-day basis. We gonna let daddy have that conversation. I'm gonna be there to support y'all, but daddy gonna be the one talking. Right. I'll drop in the ad libs here and there.
Yeah,
you feel me?
Mm-hmm. That's all.
Y'all better listen to it. Yeah, I know, motherfucker. So that's what I'm saying. It's like that type of stuff. You want to make sure, you know what I mean. That type of shit is important. And getting into this last question here, that actually kind of walks directly into this question. So, cause I guess I already kind of answered it, but like when it comes to dating, and this is just general shit, casual shit, slides, you know, how we get down. Horse, you already know the vibes. Significant others, people you might take serious.
Like I just said, whore. You know what whore?
Wordy good. But do you seek out people that have like open-minded kind of view, like open-minded outlooks with social like constructs and things of that nature? Do you seek it?
I mean, I feel like I do it without noticing. Now, obviously, I'm not like, yeah, what you think about black men? And what they go through in society. Of course, I'm not asking a question of like that, but I can say when I'm having conversations with. Now, I'm not counting slides and just the horse.
You don't give a fuck
because my bag different with them. Like I fuck bitches. So it's kind of different with me. Like I don't really, me and slides, we ain't even talking about that.
So that to kind of add a question onto the question, do you have like kind of any guidelines or boundaries with the slide?
I mean, as long as it's not like
fuck me, nigga.
Yeah, as long as it ain't. As long as it ain't that crazy.
I got you.
Nah, not really. That's honestly. As long as if it's against the slide, if it's just something I'm sliding, as long as it's not like, alright, when I leave here, she finna put the hood on.
Hey, yo, you're wild.
As long as it ain't so wild.
It ain't that obvious and everything.
Cool. But, like I said, if it's something I'm taking serious, I can honestly say I kind of do like you said, bro. You said it earlier, because in the conversations that we had, you gonna kind of see where I stand on it. When we get to having the conversations about just who we are as a person, how we feel about certain things, our views, and how we see what's just going on in the world today. A girl that I'm taking serious going to kind of see like, all right, he stands here, and
that's how he get down
with situations, and I'm gonna make it clear. It ain't gonna be like, oh, I don't really know if maybe I can kind of get up. You gonna know. You
gonna understand. So, and I only ask that question jokingly because surprisingly a lot of motherfuckers think that's one of the top questions I get asked because I do have sex with white women that do. I fuck with white women that would say that in bed. I've never been with a white woman that said that to me in bed.
Say what?
Like, give me that nigga dick or some
I feel like that only happens on porn.
And I think I heard that on a show or
that's a porn video.
I think I heard that on a podcast before or something like that. And Bull was like, she said it, but I finished first. That was Bull said on the podcast. He said he was fucking a white chick, and then she said, "Give me that nigga dick" or some dumb shit like that. And then he finished it, and he was like, "Yo, don't do that no more." Like,
I mean,
wait till you
personal experience, I ain't never ran across I've never like the people, my niggas that I know that mess with white females a little more than me never ran across that. I've seen that on like porn videos.
Rule it out, though. Honestly, it's a lot of fuck.
Oh hell no, that's the thing.
I feel like it does happen.
It can, but I've never had it happen.
But I feel like that goes back
Same
to
with you bad wench bitches that be on that slave play shit. We not leaving y'all hoes alone.
I feel like that goes back. I feel like that goes back to us. Me and my niggas doing a good job at the beginning. Like, alright, even though we just fucking, you ain't finna be just doing this.
Yeah.
We kind of, whether they a slide, whatever they are, we make sure we understand. Like,
So you are saying there are boundaries.
Like,
are you racist?
Are you racist? Like, do you like black people? Like, that has to at least be understood.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not like, damn, she might like it, but her ass fat. Like, nah,
yeah,
bro, I'm
bad.
not, that ain't my bag.
Yeah, I couldn't do it either. I couldn't sleep at night if I got.
Give me the question again, bro.
So, like, do you? Yeah, because we went on a little sidebar there. So with this one specifically, do you seek out somebody that's open-minded to, like, you know, social constructs?
I would kind of say yeah, because in like, you know, because look, there are times that I'm dating to waste time, and there are times where I'm dating to take you fucking serious. So we talk about if I'm dating to take you serious when I'm in the mode to date. Because the funny thing is, and I don't know how about other people feel about this, but I can be in both those modes at the exact same time.
Facts.
I can be out here dating, and it's like if somebody comes here, I'm not gonna waste her time. Ooh, I can take her seriously. I don't have to be in one structured mode to be like, I'm only looking for a
That's
woman.
the best way to sharpen the tool. You feel me?
And I can be right for all of y'all. But it's like, in doing that, if I'm just looking at it straight from a dating with a purpose type of shit, I'm definitely looking at that. Because it's like, you know what I'm saying? Of course it's like, if I see Joe dust seeking on, I'm intrigued. But one, you got to be attractive. Like, it starts there. I'm not too high on weaves and all that shit. Now, I understand my sisters wear that. I don't personally. That's not my favorite, but I ain't knocking if you got it. Right. But it's just like certain mind
shit with that.
Yeah, certain mind states that you have to have. It's just like you have to be one with your blackness. You have to be aware of a few things. It's just for me to know off top. I could come away with that conversation and be like, damn, I think that's a woman I can raise children with.
Right.
That could. You know, nurture a household and be a good woman to me. I can be a good man to her. Mm-hmm. And it's just like, I see certain things in a woman and talking to her. That's why, I know y'all kill me. I like being on the phone. I like talking.
Bro, this nigga.
What?
This nigga talk.
You and shit.
Yo,
go ahead, go tell him, Mike.
This nigga talk on the phone for hours.
I'm talking like 5 to 7 if he.
That's not all. That was like a couple times. That was like.
Nigga, every time you send us a screenshot, like, you know the vibes. It'd be like 5-0.
It'd be like 3-0.
Yo, normally
it's 3.
Right. Normally that's my base. Base is like 2.5. But like I maxed out
on the phone for 15 minutes.
Because y'all don't got no mouthpiece like that for the bras. So it's like,
don't do that because I got a mouthpiece. I'm just trying to go over the phone.
Okay, all right. They just understand y'all niggas not interested after 15 minutes. So it's like
nigga be on that line.
They don't be trying to come
at a point, bro, you're not even telling the truth.
That's like M.
Like,
nigga want to come in my game because he want to run his phone bill up.
Yeah, nigga like,
unlimited everything. Shout out to
you know, he probably in a deep voice back. I know you been.
I'm not. And after every time.
What you would do if I was dead? Like,
yeah. Nah, that's the shit that bitches be going, what would you do? Would you still love me if I was a turtle? Like. No,
but that's what I'm saying. If you having a phone conversation for 3 hours, that's the kind of question.
But that's like my vetting process. When I talk to women, I talk about everything.
I literally just said that.
But I talk about your upbringing. I talk about like how do you want kids? What kind of person you are? Like your lifestyle.
What's your name?
Do you think you need to pay $10,000 or more for a wedding? All that shit.
Oh no,
you do that with slides too, right?
I'm like, what's your name?
What? I do long phone conversations.
But Jordan, you just cool with. Yes, I'm saying. Nigga, that's what it is. That's what I'm saying.
I'm not talking about like maybe I'm attaching.
Your conversation.
Maybe I'm attaching what you're saying to like the 7-hour phone call. Nah, that's like when I only did that once. That was when I was fucking with. But like
this nigga clocked in and clocked out.
Because like
on the phone.
If you a slide, I could be on the phone for 7 hours. I could be on the phone with 3 hours, 2 hours for you.
What?
We talking.
With 3? Yo, you was talking like, what's your name? Where you
talking? Yeah, he talking. But you know what? I don't want to give too much of the sauce away, but
be like, yeah, you was
and look, the way it's been working for me is if I get one or two of those out the way, by the time I come through for the link up,
you know, that's actually, you know what? Now that you say it that way,
I didn't have to go on 5 dates for that. Y'all niggas would have had to do for
that. Man, see that granted, I remember.
I'm not saying that.
Days.
I'm not
two on top.
Yeah.
Two on top, baby.
I know what you mean, though, bitch.
Bro, you said it like that's what we averaging before we get some.
I didn't say that. But what I'm saying at the end of the day, what I'm saying is, and I don't use that as a tool just to do that because I like talking. But what I've realized is a lot of times when I've spent the time on the phone talking to chicks for like 2 or 3 hours, I do that twice, right? I do that Monday, I do that Wednesday. So when we link it Friday, you already know what's going down, and they feel comfortable with me. They've told me to come over already, and I slide.
But see,
I'm a text.
But y'all know
don't call me. Don't send me no audio message.
They can't even. I do the voice.
I don't do that too much.
I do the voice message. You know the voice message?
You know how my shit be sounding in the car. My shit be sounding like
this nigga sound like he in an ice
The word he do. But see the thing that I have to combat that point that you just said is the fact that like for me, y'all know my bag. I'm very big, and I said this. Well, this is all our bag to a degree. It's like I'm really big on setting up. If I'm doing a vibe, if it's a first date vibe, second date vibe, I do my hardest to get to the like slide over the crib thing. Now, sex ain't got to be a part of it at all.
Right.
But if it's that first date, I know I'm gonna do what I need to do for you to walk out of the door once the date is over. Like I'm gonna get that nigga some pussy.
What A-Rap said?
You know what I'm saying?
Tell me your favorite line, bro.
She gotta go. She don't fuck after 2 dates, nigga. So you really gotta put that shit on. Like, all right, let me show her as to why sex with me is a good idea and how I'm interested in her, but I don't really care for it to happen on the first date. Now, if it does, great. If it doesn't, great. You feel what I'm saying? So I think what you do, that it kind of like works together though, because like I'm having them kind of conversations when they hear that first time for hours.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
you're there. But I only say that because like sometimes you can't. One, we in this quarantine shit. A lot of broads on this shit where it's like, well, can we talk for a little bit first or
no, bitch.
Whatever kind of link up they feel comfortable with, and I'm obliging to that. And to be quite honest, like it be times where I gotta say I work 2 jobs, so it's like my second job where I work overnight. Sometimes
I got 2 jobs.
You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I don't like I have nothing but time. I sit on my ass on my second job, and I don't do shit. So it's like, bitch, I don't got time. I mean,
I talk it up. That's cool.
Why would I not?
That's cool.
But it's also times where I'm voluntary and I'm in my bed and I'm talking to a bitch till 4 in the morning.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
So I'm in my room like. Nigga be like, yeah, so what type of peppermints you like?
What you mean on Thanksgiving you got the mac and cheese first or the stuffing? You know what I'm saying?
If you working, I wouldn't keep doing it if it wasn't working. I promise you.
It ain't even the part of the phone bag. I just don't have.
I just want to know why it's so opposed to you.
I just don't have to pay. Like,
what pay?
I don't be liking them enough.
But this is where I think this connect with you is. I'm only doing this with bitches that I do like though. Like I do fuck
you
with.
You said you talk to the slide,
but there are slides that I don't fuck with. I'm not giving them.
But he said, that's true. But nonetheless, you're saying that you would if you fuck with her. She's just a slide. You know that she on. You can be on the phone with her for a couple hours.
But there are slides that I can fuck with, and there are slides that I don't want anything to do with you.
I feel like my slides don't even want to be on the phone with me for 2 hours. Yeah. But that's the thing. I'm saying your dynamic. I think how you roll with it and how you roll the red carpet out in the beginning. It's just different. That's what it's all about. Everybody bad. This is unique. That's why you pick up. If you smart, you learn one or 2 things.
You feel me? Like,
so
I tried to talk to his other phone today. I'm like,
this shit.
I
think what I hate is that
I gotta walk my fish.
The reason why I enjoy texting so much, and I understand so much can get lost in translation during text, like with text. That's why a lot of motherfuckers. I can understand why people dislike it. For me. What I hate about FaceTime and phone calls is that I feel so stationary, bro. I feel like I can't do anything else besides entertain you on the phone. Whereas if I'm texting, I could be watching the Lakers play and blowing your shit up and talking to you like, yeah, my nigga Bronco, hey, you know the vibe, and then be going back to her. I can't do that. Well, I can do it on the phone, but it's just like I'm not going to be paying as much attention to you. But you know what I'm saying? But while Caruso knocking down the Trey Rock.
My thing with that is like, I've come up with like what I realize is a lot of times when I be on the phone, and what I've heard before is. Like, if there's dead air and it's still comfortable, that's how you know you making headway. Because it's like, it be times where it be dead air, it's cool. Like, many times when I be on the phone with these chicks, there can be dead air for a couple seconds, minute. I'm doing something, she doing something. It can be dead air and it's still cool, we right back to it. That's why it's so easy for me. I'm not stomaching bullshit conversation. I'm not stomaching a bitch that can't continue a conversation, propose any subject. You know, I have a real short temper for that. I'm not dealing with you if you can't do anything. You can't propose any conversation. You can't extend the conversation. You're not entertaining. I'm not talking to you on the fucking phone.
Fact.
I vetted that in texting you whether you can do that or not. And after 10 minutes into that phone call, I know if you can do that or not. I'm not making lemons into fucking a castle with this bitch. Like, no, that has to already be there. So it's like,
okay, so that's your bag, but it ain't like you just throwing it out there. Like, I've been on the phone with this young for 3 hours. Like, what you doing?
no, I already know she has the capabilities to give me the conversation.
Okay.
But the thing of it is, you see me on the phone like that with the bitches that can do that, so it looks like I'm doing that all the time, but it's really with a couple bitches.
Yeah.
It's not a lot.
I feel you. So, that shit was funny as hell. So get into this second topic here, fellas. Another one, like I said, this is another one we're going to kind of give our like little experiences, things that we can speak to, a little tidbits here and there. Dating within your intellectual realm.
Put your thinking caps on.
Put the motherfucking thinking caps on. It's important. I feel like it's some subconscious, like some shit that you don't even realize that you may or may not partake in.
Shit, nigga, your egg.
So it's some shit like that you deal with. So this first question here, fellas. Do you feel as though within your dating experience, and once again, free reign on everything, we can talk whatever. Do you feel as though that you dated outside of your intellectual realm? So the other person that you were seeing was either above you felt as though there was a, not saying a gap, because I don't want motherfucker to think like I felt dumb fucking with this bitch. But like, you could tell that she was very knowledgeable in ways that you weren't, but then either that or the lower tier where it's like she's not on nearly the same page as me.
For me personally, I feel like it's kind of been a balance that's kind of drawn me towards them. Like, it's some things that we can talk about and you like, all right, she kind of putting me on game. Yeah. And then it's some things where I'm kind of a little more knowledgeable and I can break it down for you. So I feel like that's a good question. Like, I look for the balance. Okay. I don't look where I'm just giving up all the game, or even if it's we just having conversation in general and everything. Like, you don't know about this, you don't know about this, you don't know about this.
You don't go.
I don't really like if I'm talking to someone like that. They kind of draw me off.
Right.
But if it's a situation where a female where every 5 seconds she just like, hey, I'm gonna just teach you about. It's kind of like that.
So you're saying with the balance that you've entertained, you've noticed at least within yourself that you've dated under or over.
It's always been it's never been I was over. It was always like a balance with the few situations. Because again, I ain't even really. Yeah. The few situations I've been like, I'm finna take you serious. I've been able to look, and I feel like I'm drawn to that balance. Mm-hmm. Now, have I had situations where it's been more me or more her, less me, less her? Of course. But the situations that have drawn me to being like, okay, I'm gonna take you serious. I've seen like I'm drawn to that balance where it's kind of like we can feed off each other.
Okay.
In different situations.
Gotcha. I feel what you're saying. What about you?
Have I dated like outside of the realm?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've definitely dated outside of the realm. I don't feel as though I've dated anybody below me on that realm. You know what? Let me come back to that part.
Remember, we opened the floor for slides, casuals.
That's why I broke it down the way I did. I was like, it's John just slides, but John's not taking it serious.
Okay, slides we're not dating slides, so it's like, all right.
We're talking about slides on the show like they creatures.
They are.
But I love my slides.
Love my slides, kind of halfway sometimes. But no, like as far as dating, I'll speak to the up because it's easier to speak to first. One, I love dating intellectually superior women. I love dating smart women. I like it because it's like I like being. I feel like to be able to learn something new from somebody is an invigorating experience. So it's like being with women that usually comes from women that are older, but it's just nice to be around that kind of environment with a woman. It's welcoming. It's if she's not trying to talk down to you because bitch, you can't do that. But like, I'm just saying. But like in dealing with somebody who's like, you know, you're dating up in the intellectual realm. I just like the environment of dealing with that person. It's you learn shit. They teach you new things. They show you new things. You might learn about a different aspect of life. So dealing when you're on the other side of it and you're dealing with slides or bird brain bitches where it's like they're not offering you much but pussy. Right. It's just like you know that's what they are for.
Yeah.
So it's like you spend the time that you spend with them. And the 23 minutes that you at their crib or their apartment, or their dorm, or their car, or wherever the fuck you find them at. Wherever you at. The move, never.
To the movies.
But it's just like, it's a different kind of feel. And even if you are taking them serious, like, I pretty much only really dated my level within my realm and up. Cause like to say that I've dated somebody like below my intellectual, I just feel like, damn, that just sounds like a terrible time. And I know me, that's not gonna be inviting.
Yeah,
I would not deal with you that long to say I dated.
That shit
Have I
do
fucked
sound
chicks,
bad.
stupid chicks?
Mhm.
Yeah, I have.
And I fuck chicks stupid too. You know that.
Why? Your IQ doesn't bother me as long as you're not like.
You caught on to that, right? But that's it. Cause you was like, I fuck chicks stupid. I was like, I have fucked, and then you was like, I fuck stupid chicks. So I fucked women stupid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Beat the pussy stupid.
Yeah. I died to the question. But no, like we all spend time with chicks that are on different spectrums, but it's just like who you spend the most with. I feel I've spent the most time with chicks my level and above, because as I've gotten older, I can appreciate, and I've always appreciated, let me not say that, I've always appreciated the lure of an older woman. Because they offer more and they're more stable and they know what they want.
To be honest with you, this answer that he's giving us though is not too surprising because he just spoke about how he's big on conversation on the phone. Like you not even saying that that's why, obviously, but you know what I'm saying. It's a part that
comes
feeds
from an
in.
older. Not saying that always comes from an older person, but that's more readily found.
Yeah, exactly.
But
They,
like,
you know,
let's be honest, it is an older thing that we like older.
Because a lot of times, bro, it's just like
Yeah.
23, 24, 25. They don't be talking about shit.
bro, I'm all kinds of shit.
Boy, that wine about to put him to sleep as soon as we turn that camera off.
No, I won't.
But like, the younger chicks for the most part, they don't be having nothing to talk about, and they want you to carry the conversation.
You heard that, young woman? Step your convo up.
Bro, that's why with them,
This man would not be driving nowhere.
with them, but
Don't say it again,
But what I'm saying is, with this, bro, I'm trying to start a sentence over there. But like, I kind of always realize it's better to just get them where you was expecting to get them to begin with up front. Like you want, if you try to get this slip, you try to slide her over, slide her over as soon as possible. Because the conversation is not gonna be great. It's not something that she's gonna be able to pick up.
I see what you're saying. The longer it takes,
Bro,
the harder it's gonna get to that point.
Yeah.
I know exactly when that point in the conversation happens because I know I'm like, right. Like when I know a bitch saying some stupid shit and I realize like, damn, why am I entertaining this? And I'm not saying I'm a fucking brainiac because I'm fucking not. But my logic keeps me afloat. My logic allows me. What happened?
I don't be thinking when I be fucking with
No, I'm saying though, like when I'm dealing with a chick and I realize she's probably like a bird brain, it's just like, all right, I gotta kind of dumb down my conversation.
Yeah, like you just know you're watering everything
To
down.
wrap up this situation. But it's just like when you're dealing with somebody older, bro, it's so much more of an enjoyable time. Like you expand your fucking thinking. Like you can have an intellectual conversation and it's fun. And a person can raise you up like that. They can raise your thought process up like that.
Right.
Why would that not be inviting? But I understand the lure of fucking with chicks that are fucking bird brains. I mean, they be there and they be attractive
right there,
too.
boy. They be ready to
And you don't have to say like talking them up is fairly easy. It's not much you have to do. But I mean, you have to power through bullshit conversation.
Of course.
And it's whether you want to stomach that or not.
That's why I said, for me, I've been pimping all over the world with that. Up, down, go around, come on, defense work.
You know who you are, cause we pimping all over the world. Sing it all. Hey girl, how you doing? You wanna know what
So I'll be all over the place, like because I feel as though I never really want to judge too much, no matter who it is that I'm seeing and the capacity in which I'm seeing them. Like if I'm going to fuck you, I'm gonna fuck you. If I'm gonna try to make you something, make you something. But like y'all was saying, to piggyback off what y'all said on both of y'all points, like if I'm about to make it something, it gotta be me or above. I'm expecting that because I want to be able to provide the exact same thing to you. But if you under my kind of way of thinking, my intellectual points, it's like I'm just bringing you all the way up from the ground and we just going together on my back. Like, it's not even like we doing something together as a team.
No coachable.
I was just about to say, but don't open the door for him like
y'all don't want the coachable king.
But this is the thing, and this and that, bro. With that coaching shit, it's aspects of life where you introduce that, and aspects of life where you do not.
Yeah, she's told she's not.
Niggas like, I don't want to be the head coach.
She's
or the offensive coordinator. I want to coach special teams.
She's
like,
I want to get niggas Gatorade.
Bro, it's a 12-story building and she's on the first floor. Bro, you're not coaching first floor to 12.
Yeah, that's the thing. You know what I'm saying?
There are
like
aspects of dealing with a good woman where it's like, you on the 8th floor. Let me help you get
Mommy,
to
I'm coaching in the big league. This nigga's coaching in the G League for a reason.
Okay, so
don't fuck with them.
okay,
You feel me?
okay.
So it's like that type of scenario. I can deal with you in a certain capacity, but if I'm talking about trying to make something mine and cuff up on it, if you under, and I'm talking about ways and unders where you can be under, but it's almost like I always speak to the idea of an open mind. Like you showcase that you, and this not me coaching anything, but like you showcase the interest of wanting more for yourself. Mm-hmm. You showcase the interest of wanting to learn more, gain that knowledge that's important, and like a necessity to have something serious. Mm-hmm. Then you're capable of a lot of things you may not just know that you're really ready for yet. You might have haven't tapped into that part of your brain. So I would never really want to hold somebody too down on that. Yeah. It just depends on the capacity that I see you in. But that slide activity, bro, they could be ground zero or in a sky.
Yo, you remember that show? They was some dumb motherfuckers. I don't care.
Like that type of shit don't matter to me because I'm not. This goes nowhere outside of the construct of us having sex, really. So I really don't give a fuck what you think or feel or how. That doesn't matter to me as much. But the woman of my dreams, somebody I'm trying to build a life with. I love to feed off the energy in which that person has and learn things from them, and I would love to be able to be a source for them, a resource for them to learn as well. So you gotta be working with them if that's what we about to be doing.
Yeah, bro. And it starts with something to work with, like you said.
Balance.
It's a jumping off point, and a woman could have that same ideology about me. She could look at me like, you're not everywhere I want him to be, but he has a jumping off point. I could deal with him. I could coach him up.
Hell yeah.
So it's like, I don't look, again, like I said last week, I don't look at it as just, I'm the only person coaching. No, you can coach me up too. Like, especially if you feel me. Yeah. You see things in me. You see the core of me, but it's like there just a couple of tangible. I want to get him here. It is not. You ain't gonna make me, bitch. But it's like you can help me be better. You can help me be the best version of me. Right. You can help me do that.
This nigga always talk like he talk his pleasantries and good things, but then he drop a reminder like I'm a nigga though. But
yeah. I was super kind of hearted, but fuck you too. Wait, but you know me. Like it's over.
Whereas I be chefing it up. But this next question, we kind of answered it with our first answers, really. But like, do you feel as though, and don't look at it like I would or I would not. Do you feel as though that you can bring somebody up to your level?
It depends. Mm-hmm. Like we was just saying, like if you're on the ground floor level, that's not time that I want to allocate trying to bring you up. Okay. I have to see something in you. I have to see, like, you have to have a core. You have to have certain intangibles, like, all right, you working towards it. I can help bring that out of you. Or we can work towards to bring that out of you together. So it's just like, there's a jumping off point. But as far as like that basement level mind of thinking or wherever you're at, where it's like, I'm ascended past that, it's just like, I don't want to take the time to do that. That may be more, I may have to dedicate and allocate more time than I'm willing to. I'm not saying I want to finish product because I'm not a finished product.
Right, exactly.
So it's like we work on each other. But as far as somebody like being on the basement of it, nah, mommy, I can't help you with that.
My answer is no.
Okay.
To answer that question, because we talking about the basement. If we talking about this question, if I gotta just teach you, like put you on game that much, I'm good. I want to come across a woman who I get that balance from. I'm not trying to be coaching. That's not what I'm trying to do.
That's not your bag.
That ain't my bag.
That's your bag with the basketball on the court.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I coach, that's my job. When I get off work, you feel me? I ain't trying to get off work and still be like, oh, you do these X's and O's. Like, no. So the answer to me is no. I want somebody that can be on the same mindset as me. I'm not trying to start. I'm 25. Mm-hmm. If you 25 and you still like, yeah, I need a coach. Put me on game with mad shit. I'm like, come on, you step behind.
Fair.
You step behind. So my answer is no.
I just wanted to add this. It's like, and we've been talking about this past couple of days now. It's like, and there have been situations that helped me realize recently, like, we say age, I don't want that to get lost on the listener, like where it's age only, because it's like it's more maturity in the mindset. I say I like the conversation of an older woman, but there can be a woman that's 22 or 23 that has just as much maturity as that older woman, maybe 35. So I don't want the listener to get stuck on age. Like I would never, deal with somebody who's younger.
Might be a diamond in the rough, but it exists nonetheless.
It definitely is a diamond in the rough.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just like I don't want the listener to feel like just because you're this age, you can't talk to somebody and have an intellectual conversation, because that could be the furthest thing from the truth.
And that's true, because it's important to state that, because I think a lot of how we saying things right now, or how that question was answered, like somebody, motherfuckers to take something and run with it. And that's
why
not even
I
what
said it was a good reason. It was a good time.
Good point to bring that in. Yeah, for me, like it can definitely be done. I do agree. Like I said, if you on ground zero and you just showcasing yourself to be at a point of life where that's just not where you at, I think you're more inclined to stay there than you are to jump up. Like that's just what I would think of. And that's not me trying to create a judgment zone for you. I'm just like, that's where you at, and you gonna exist in that world until you openly decide for yourself, right, shit, I don't want to be doing this no more. I gotta be different. So I would never want to dig somebody out of from a ditch like that if I'm trying to be anything with them. I think it's all, and what I want to get out of that, what I would do for myself and what I want, because I even said that when I asked you the question, like, it's possible. You can do it, but I would feel like, especially like I said, at my age specifically, it would just be really, I feel like it would almost be counterproductive to kind of go that route and take that point with somebody, because, I mean, don't get me wrong, it could be golden after y'all figure it out and it's like, damn, I really helped her get to a point.
How much time are you allocating?
Exactly. There's so many things you got to really sit down and think about with
coaches.
And she may not be able to take instruction at that level.
True.
She may not want to.
You know what I'm saying? But she a Nate Robinson motherfucker. Can't be coached. It's a hard-headed little fastball, small nigga.
She 20, she 30, and then it's like, well, I'm stuck in my ways. I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do. I'm approaching 30. There's nothing you can tell me. Why would I allocate time to that? You're telling me that you don't want instruction.
That's a bird.
Cool. I'm not gonna force my instruction on you.
That's
Enjoy life, mommy. Like, so it's like I'll go deal with somebody who's able to take instruction and is more.
That's not a bird. That's not a bird.
Thanks.
Don't you just? I'm surprised you trying to.
I'm not. Right. I'm just trying.
Bird. BIRD. That's what that is. It's okay.
I'm just saying.
We switching roles for the
day. It gets to a point where you know who can take instruction and who can't.
Birds
you
can't.
Put time into that person.
Look, we know it's a lot of wild Pidgeotos around this motherfucker.
It's a fact.
I live in this world. I see it day in and day out, unfortunately. It's the game. But like you said, that is true. It's a good way to look at it, bro, because at the end of the day, people are going to be who they are. I've learned that over time. It's just like, and to a point, I've learned that so much so that I'm able to sniff that out. And it's like, once you get a hold of that, you have to accept it for what it is, because the more and more you try to fight tooth and nail on that, is the more and more confusion you cause for yourself, the more of a headache you cause for yourself. Now you bringing yourself down to that intellectual point. You don't want to go back and forth with somebody on that. Y'all not on the same page. Y'all not going to ever really grasp the understanding that's necessary to get. So I want to get into this next question because I already know. Well, I don't know. Maybe Mike's answer might be different with this one, because he kind of did it when we spoke to the college kid. To a degree. He did it to a degree.
Okay.
Do you feel as though people, and when I say people, you can speak to whomever. I mean, we date females, so we only know how females respond. But do you feel as though people value the idea of academic intellectual too much than they should when it comes to dating?
Personally, that I've run across.
Okay.
I don't think I've ran across it on a personal aspect, but I think my generation, 25, 26, 24, 25, they do.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like, just from what I've seen, especially with social media, it's a thing where
it's really
like,
a thing.
With social media, it's feeling like you gotta have a degree, or you gotta have a certain amount of job, or something that makes you look like,
that uplifts you in a way of the public eye.
In the public eye, where it's like, oh, you don't have a degree, you're not successful.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like with my generation, it's kind of looked at like that. Do our people? No, I don't really give a fuck, because I was a person who was actually able to go to school, see like, all right, I really don't need this shit.
Mm-hmm.
Leave, go work the way I went to. This shit happened, then like, all right, I can fuck with school or fuck school, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't really give a fuck about it. But from just conversation with people and kind of my group of friends who are around my age, it's like, yeah, it kind of mattered what you doing academically.
Mm-hmm.
To me, that means you smarter. It's like, nah, bro.
That shit is dumb. But I don't want to get too much into it. I'm actually surprised because your answer was a bit different. But I can't be too surprised because your answer is different in the realm of you speaking to the importance of the academic, intellectual point of someone else that you're seeing. Like, you don't look at it. It's different. We spoke to that college shit about college. You attended. We all spent time in college. But you went in a different route. You kind of extended your past with it. Like, you went further. So you can speak to that in a different way. But I can see what you're saying. It's like you don't put that importance over it when it comes to value.
I don't put the importance, but I do feel like if you take me out and just put my generation, they for sure, like y'all probably ain't running into too many 24, 25-year-olds on a consistent dating basis, but I feel like most of the females we all see, like, I got a degree, you look at their age, it's gonna be 24, 25.
That's true. What you think?
I definitely think that it's too much importance placed on their academics. People in general, but we're talking about women here. But I know men do it too. People that are college educated and have accolades in that regard, I think they lean too much on it as far as their like intellectual prowess based on academia. Because in doing that, like, it's a crutch. Because it's a crutch that people feel like can supersede logic.
That's a good way to put it.
So it's like, because people think they go to school and they do this and the third, and I don't want to sound like a fucking broken record, but it truly is. Like, because I've dated women who have masters and all these shits. What's after bachelor? Masters, doctorate. And it's just like they rest on that, and that's all they can really tell you about. And you're a smart person, but you're a linear smart person. You're not like a multi-dimensional thinker. You have a one-path mind. That one-path mind was go to school and study hard, which is cool, but it's like that don't make you fucking intellectual. Yeah. That just means you take instruction well. Yeah, that's a fact.
Most of the time they be cheating. Cause a person like me, I never took a class. I cheated.
This nigga Mike said they had the athlete shit, whatever, some athlete shit. He said, shit, in college, we had a room, you take your work there, and they did it for you.
Bro,
like, that's
I can honestly say, like, I probably did, like, actually myself, like, 2 assignments ever in my life.
Yo, ESPN gonna do a story on you. Please,
bro,
please.
They gonna have a picture of him in the Hustle Tillin situation.
I don't give a fuck about them ways, bro. But, like, honestly, when I see people with degrees, I'm like, how much of that did you actually do yourself? Now, it is some people that
studied,
but 90% cheated.
But what I'm trying to get at is people, like, how people
did this shit yourself.
People definitely use that as a crutch when they're like, especially with dealing with women, because we know logic and women, they kind of don't really meet.
Don't always mesh.
So it's like when they have these degrees, they feel like they're this super smart being, and that's cool for you to feel like that. But when you have like a real disagreement or argument with them, you can usually talk circles around them if you're just using logic, because miss, I don't have any logic will always creep up in that. I don't give a fuck how many MBNAs or masters you got, because whatever the fuck it is, that is gonna show itself, man. And I know, because I've been there and I've dated these chicks before. Be as smart as they want to be, but logic eludes them. So it's like, that's why I feel
with logic comes accountability.
That's true. So it's like, that's why I feel like I don't have a problem dating a woman who's smarter than me. I'm not intimidated by that. I'm not intimidated by any aspect of that, your money, whatever. But it's like, we're just talking about intellectual your IQ or whatever, however you want to measure your intellect. It's not hard to get around when you don't use logic. Because logic is what brings it all together. And a lot of times women aren't equipped with that, or just refuse to acknowledge it, or don't even want to go about dealing with it. So definitely people use that. People put a lot of importance on academia, and you're supposed to.
Yeah.
But it's
to a degree.
True. But there's academia, but you also have to couple that with logic, reason, accountability, which so many times just eludes a lot of people.
Bro, that's why I say time for time again. Y'all know my answer on this. I agree 100%. And especially, and I like how you brought up the age range, because I do think, even speaking to directly where me and B at 28, 29, going into 30, I scratch my neck when I hear women start talking. If I'm trying to get to know somebody, we opening up conversation. It's the first time we're opening up dialogue. I don't give 2 flying fucks. I do not care about what you did in college.
She's just trying to get to know
I don't care about, because it's almost like they utilize that as some sort of selling point. Like, I'm supposed to buy into it. Like, oh my God, you got a degree from the University of Colorado.
Hold on, let me go back and go, Mom, you know she got MVP.
I got a winner right now. Man, you did what everybody
That bitch can't
expected.
make cereal.
That you did what everybody expected you to do. And I'm cool with that. That's fine. You went to college cheated. That's fine. You did all of that. You got what you got, and that's great. Who are you as a person? That's all I ever get flying with. That's all I care about, bro. So I've noticed, and that's why honestly I like when that occurs, because it does allow me to kind of vet out what kind of women that I'm dealing with to a degree. Now I'm not going to say that you dropping your accolades on me mad early means that you a piece of shit person. I'm not saying that,
Right.
but I'm saying
don't stand too strong.
If you stand too strong on it, because I know that I can't speak to my academic accolades in the way that you do. Are you going to look at me different because I can't do
college
that?
dropout, mommy.
Are you going to feel as I'm some sort of lesser of a person because I can't do that now?
So and that's where me being a person that went to school, I kind of feel like a lot of people make that mistake. Like, if a person say like, yeah, I didn't go to school, I do this, find out what they did first. Because y'all two being in IT and computers, it's like we didn't need school for our careers.
I didn't need to go into crippling debt.
What the fuck? I like we talked about. We're not gonna make this a school episode, but it's mad people in school at Walmart now, like in the self checkout line, like.
And that shit, that's what scares me to death about school.
My favorite.
Being a person that
2 for 30.
Being a person that worked at a gym, I came across a couple resumes where it's like, yeah, I'm trying to be a trainer. And I was at Princeton, I was a graduate assistant. I'm like, yeah, I don't really give a fuck though.
What's your experience in the training?
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, depending on what you're trying to do, sometimes that degree might help.
Yeah.
Sometimes it might be like, all right, I might take this person who got 5 years experience before.
Like we said earlier, we're not shitting on a degree because the degree is a point of access. There are estuaries of power that me and Jordan cannot attain because we don't have degrees. And that's okay. I don't cry myself to sleep doing that, and I'm sure you don't. But it's just like, a degree is, bro, it's a kudos to anybody that has that shit. It's long, hard work, pause to get that shit done. I knew y'all was going to kill me for that.
Nah, I wasn't.
I was gonna kill you on that.
Oh, well, it's long, hard work
Right.
to get that shit done.
Hey,
So, fuck you. So it's like anytime somebody tells me they have a degree, even they fucking cheated. You deserve that shit. You know why? Because you stomach that shit for
Cheating
years.
is hard work.
Cheating is hard fucking work.
Bro, there's a science to that shit.
Man, look, you ever did a test and you had to keep making eye contact with your teacher while she was looking
Cheating
for
on my faces, it be strange.
Well, I was always good with my thinking faces though, like.
Yo, when the teacher look, you got me.
This shit harder than a motherfucker.
You gotta act like you paid attention. You been on question 5 for mad long.
Bro. So it's like, I don't knock you, but it's just like, understand there are people who can be just as successful in this world without doing all that extra shit. So that's why, like, and we off it at this point, but I'm just like, all that like, your straightaway academic intellect doesn't mean too much. In talking to me.
That's bro.
Jordan said it best. How are you as a person?
Who are you?
Like, I need to know that, bro. I wouldn't be surprised if I met somebody on an app and I was really feeling them. I would be cool with not even speaking to school or what they did in school until like the first day or maybe after the first day, because we spent so much time just focusing on the ins and outs of who we are as people.
Right.
Because that's who I'm. At the end of the day, if I decide to be with you in that way, that's who I'm laying my head next to every day. I'm not laying my next head to the University of Colorado neuroscience, fucking, you know what I'm saying, like the diploma, whatever the fuck degree.
You talk
like
for 7 hours on the phone so you can fill that out.
No, bro, I'm not talking to the phone.
Check out right there. So
we can text.
So that's why I always say it's like, that's what's more important to me. So when I see chicks getting that bag and they speak to her early, I clap it up for you, but I really don't give a fuck at the end of the day, because that's not going to sell me on much of anything. And all you're going to do is, we're going to probably stop fucking around. You're going to jump to the next nigga. What's one of the first things you're going to say to a nigga? Well, I went to school for this, that, and the third. And to be honest with you, this is actually a very interesting talking point, because it's a statistic that I don't know if y'all see it a lot. I've always ran into it randomly, and I'm kind of surprised by it. And I want to get y'all opinion on it. I do understand, and I agree with it. I think that it's actually like real. I think that it's actually true. But statistics do show that that's a struggle for black women, dating and finding a partner and finding somebody that they're interested in. Because in today's world and society, you'll see statistics do showcase that black women outclass their black men in academic skills, whether it be even sometimes jobs, the amount of money that they make, like that type of shit. And I've noticed with black women, and I'm not gonna just really connect it to them, but I'm utilizing them in this point when we're talking about like they will speak to that shit quicker a lot of times, and because it's almost like, and I get it because it's like for them to a degree, you gotta understand when it comes to choosing somebody to be with, their options are slimmer than most any other like sex and race at the same sense. Yeah. Because unfortunately, you know what I'm saying?
They out there, they take themselves out of a lot of dating pools a lot of time because they wanna. And this is not all black women, but I know what you're speaking to. Mm-hmm. They take themselves out of a lot of dating pools because it's like, I don't want to deal with this person who I may feel I'm better than, or I may feel I outclass.
And I agree with that. That's one thing that works against them. But I won't take away from the fact that because of systematic issues when we deal with incarceration, things like that, as black men, it's maybe not as much of us on the street as it could be. Not saying that it's not enough, but that's a number that takes away from them in general.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But I think because we can't, at the end of the day,
it's enough of us out here. Stop choosing.
That's all I was about to say.
It's enough of, I get what you're saying, but I don't want to die on that hill where it's like motherfuckers in jail, so black women can't choose among black men. Nah, it's enough of us out here. A lot of times there are black women that go out of their way to be like, well, I'm outclassed, I need a 6-figure, I need this, that, and a third, and you can have your standards all day, but it gets to a point where it's like, all right, you 37 now. How that been working for you? How about you find somebody that give a fuck about you? Oh,
you're gonna be 80, like, here go my degree.
And that's a lot of women. I don't even want to put that. I'm going to put that black women.
I kind of do that a little differently though.
That's a lot of women, man. A lot of women live on this. A lot of young, nuanced women are who are gaining these positions of power now based on their degrees of all races and all that type of shit. They may feel coming out of college and into their careers, because bro, like, it's a lot of chicks I've been talking to where they have these high-paying jobs, and that's cool. I don't give a fuck.
Okay.
And you need to understand that, like, a lot. And I feel like when we get to the subject, we like stay on it and barriers on it, but it's just so lucrative because it's like you have to understand that your accolades and everything else, that's cool. But are you a good person? Because it's like you can have all the accolades in the world, you can have a nice 6-figure job, but how are you as a person? And do you have any intangibles that make you desirable? Any woman. Any woman, do you have any intangibles that make you a desirable?
So you specified the race, right?
Right, that make you a desirable partner. Because if you don't, you're just gonna keep blaming men and saying men ain't shit, and that's cool. But you have to ask yourself at a point, when do you look at yourself in the mirror and be like, well, if I don't have these intangibles, I might not net the man that I want. Am I a nice person? Am I easy to deal with? Am I funny? Am I charismatic? Am I comforting? And we're not talking about you gotta be somebody's mama, but it's like, do you want to be a compatible person? Because you can sit up in that corporate office all day and go cry on a pillow at night. Is there anybody there next to you? No? Then shut the fuck up.
What was you about to say, Mike? You said you feel like you look at it differently a bit. That's what you said.
Just for me, like, personally, I haven't really ran across a lot of females who have like those standards, but don't bring nothing to the table. I feel like I don't really. Now it is some. I do see some females that be like, yeah, you gotta have this. You know, pudding. And it's like
I got potato.
But I do have a lot of females. I do see or come across a lot of females who have these standards, and it be the niggas that I feel like the bullshit. It's more bullshit ass niggas that be doing the bullshit that fuck shit up for niggas like us. I feel like we don't take them into extent as much as we should.
But why does the negative have to represent us?
Because now I would say I would want to talk to females on how they handle dealing with that one bullshit ass nigga. Don't bring that into
but the problem is
every other nigga.
And there's nothing wrong with you saying, but the problem is with that. How the fuck are you gonna personify the one piece of shit person you come across into on the entire gender? That's and I don't want to sound like a fucking shameless plug, but that's problematic when you say that. Oh, I dealt with this person was shitty, so all y'all niggas ain't shit. Well, how? Because you dealt with a person that was shit? That doesn't make any sense.
But it's easy to say that. But this is how I see it.
It's very easy.
Females never hunt.
Yeah, I know. We go
so because they never hunt, the ones that they most of the time, when they take that first batch of the first group of niggas, the first niggas that they see, most of the time, be the ain't shit niggas.
You can choose better. I don't feel bad for you.
And that is fine, but because they don't hunt, when they grasp that nigga, they do that, and they see like, alright, however long it may be, which is sometimes just a little longer than it should be, and they fuck up, then they now take the decision like, all right, I now have to put these niggas all in one group of ain't shit niggas because
you generalize this.
I mean, from the last 2 weeks of on Twitter, just from what we've seen, it's been all niggas like these niggas. It's been silhouette challenging birds and bullshit ass niggas.
Just, if you want, like, you can't.
That's the only two things we've been seeing. So
let me stop real quick.
Hold on. Me seeing that, I'll be like, damn, it's so many niggas that make it so hard for a nigga like me who can move around the correct way. I don't really put it past these females who actually got shit going on. Like, I want a nigga to come correct.
I wish a bitch would tell me I need to come correct.
You would say that, but then the nigga come like, yeah.
Incorrect.
Okay, that's his problem.
And she like, niggas ain't shit. And we could be like, but you choose wrong.
The one thing that I will give him on that is that he said it himself that it's like they don't hunt. That's the reason. They don't hunt, so they intake. Everything is intake. So it's a bunch of incorrect ain't shit niggas walking in.
You can swipe left on whatever nigga come your way you don't like.
I mean, it's easy for you to say that because you hunt.
Like
you can swipe left. You can swipe left on that bitch and be like, I'm gonna just swipe on this bitch.
That's when this chameleon conversation get in again.
Exactly.
That's what happened last
I'm not talking about I'm gonna just fake like a. You can swipe left on something and then just be like, I'm gonna swipe left, swipe left, swipe left. Females never doing that.
But here comes accountability and being an adult.
And I said that.
Right.
I'm
not detracting from what you're saying. But in accountability of being an adult, you can keep complaining about the people you come across, or you can do a little bit of a better job vetting the people that come into your life. Because if you're so accustomed to these ain't shit motherfuckers, shouldn't you be accustomed to the bullshit traits that they represent to you?
But
so you can vet that out a little
You
bit better?
say that, but then like a couple episodes, you be like, yeah, I put my best Carmelian face on so these bitches never know.
But that's somebody who's not really looking for something serious.
But
that's the majority of niggas though.
Exactly.
I don't know what to tell you.
You know what I'm saying? So
they don't know what to tell themselves. That'd be the problem.
You can't put all these bitches in these holes like, choose better, choose right, choose these niggas like me that ain't shit. But you better be able to find out the niggas that ain't shit either, cause they be lying. Even though the niggas that sometimes not shit, we lie sometimes too. So it's like, damn, they don't hunt, they get ain't shit niggas, and they get lying ass niggas 50% of the time. Then you be like, it's your fault at the end of the day. Either you gonna want some bitches that's hunting, or you gonna have to take most of the females that actually got shit together. Like, I want a nigga that come correct. I have standards.
I don't have it
because the niggas coming like
I don't have it for a grown ass adult, man or woman, because I'm not just focusing on women. I don't have it for a grown ass adult because I see men complain about women. Bro, you vet properly. Like, I understand that can be easier said than done, because a liar is gonna be a liar. But like, we're not gonna sit here and say that people lie 50% of the time. Now, where are we getting these numbers from?
From niggas. What the fuck?
Oh, well.
What you mean when you say get these numbers from? Like, about what we saying?
Like, no, how you saying like 50% of motherfuckers is lying?
Oh, because, well, honestly, that's just, you know how niggas give it up. Bitches, we put ourselves in a position to win to get the right women. Like, because Mike is saying they don't hunt, it's all intake for them. They gotta hope and pray whatever they accept in is exactly who they want it to be. And
people lie and people are deceptive. So it's like, again, I've come across women who have lied to me. I've come across women that have done me dirty. It's like, I don't put it on every bitch on this planet to be like, you see what? You see how these bitches acting? No, bro, you get up, you brush yourself off, and you try for the next one.
But you have the right to do that. You be like, shit, I'm good with my spirit. They be like, they might strike me.
What cool, have a defeatist attitude and be fucking 39 and
so do you want a female that hunts?
I can seek a woman out.
That's what I'm saying. You take account that females have to be hunted until it's
a woman can shoot a shot, bro. A woman can shoot a shot. I know it's not customary for them to do, but the older you get, a lot of shit's going to have to come down for you. The sanctuary of your own bullshit that you live in has to come down. So if you're 35 and you talking all this, I don't have to hunt. Okay, happiness will elude you until you get up off your ass and seek it out for yourself. Somebody can come in and shoot at you and, be welcoming to you. But it gets to a point, it's like, and I ain't a woman, so I can't speak to it, but I would just think, is that as I get older, and I still ain't getting chose, and I'm waiting for Prince Charming to come, at some point, wouldn't you not want to seek somebody out, or try to seek somebody out?
But it's easy for us to say because we do this on a day-to-day basis. But when I'm speaking, what he's saying, and I understand what he's talking about with women, like you always say, it's in our innate nature to do the things that we do as men. It's in their innate nature to do the things that they do as women, even if they know they're working in spite of themselves. That's why I do have a point of sensitivity to what you're saying, where it's like, you eventually going to get up off your own ass. If you don't want to, I understand why you don't want to, but you might continue seeing the same shit that you.
I don't want to get up and go to work every day, but you know what I kind of have to do. Well, I keep paying bills.
So, but that's because they're so. But they also been having to work since they've been however old, so they're used to doing that. That's
but
like,
I say that to say is like, well, yeah, I don't want to go get up off my ass and go hunt for a dude.
Yeah.
But we all do things we don't want to have to do, especially when push comes to shove. Push comes to shove is you being older.
But it would, I think, for them to be able to do that and actively correct the issues that Mike's saying they're having, the spectrum of dating and how it works would have to shift like a
switch
motherfucker.
like a 360.
Because then they would be having to understand, like, this is the way of the game. We're raised as children from our parents. Not saying that you're using that as an example. I'm just going off of it. Like, to work, all of us, male or female, transgender, whatever y'all want to call yourselves. Whereas, like, females with this dating shit, niggas been coming to them since however old they was. So they just so used and accustomed to it that it's like, I don't have to change anything. But that's why I do, to a degree, very, very small degree, have a point of sensitivity and understanding, like, why dating and kind of vetting out the correct thing in men is harder for them. It is a piece of cake for me.
Oh, I don't deny that it's harder. I don't deny that it's harder. But that's what it is. I can't, what I won't do, I don't, like how you say you feel sympathy, I just don't. Because it gets to a point, it's like, your happiness is your happiness. And only you can make your happiness. And we talk about it all the time. It's like, I can't be the driving force in the reason for your happiness. So if you want to be happy, you need to make the adjustment. And we're talking about women who are, as they get older, they can't find this thing. Because, you know, that's a point of discussion that they had. You know, motherfuckers ain't shit. That's cool. But at what point are you going to do something about it? Because you want to sell your ass, that's cool. But just enjoy being a cat lady. And your ovaries are gone. And now you can't have children without them being retarded.
Hey.
Oh, my fault.
Damn, you was good to that end.
This nigga. Oh, my God.
You thought I wasn't revealing myself?
Yeah.
You thought Carnage wasn't going to pull himself out and be like, yeah, bitch, it was me the whole time.
But nah, I feel, we went on like another sidebar there, but I like when that happens. Yeah, because it makes for good conversation. So, honestly, ladies and gentlemen, I think it's time to wrap this motherfucker. You feel me? Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, once again, this is the 18th installment of the Problematic Gentlemen Podcast.
Heavy on the problematic today.
Facts. Where can they find us who want to speak to that shit?
We're on YouTube, we're on Spotify, we're on Apple Podcasts, we're on Breaker, we're on Stitcher, we're on Google Podcasts, wherever your internet is, holla at your mama, all that fly nigga shit. We coming out again next week, and we're gonna keep dropping episodes.
Keep dropping some shit on yo.
Please send all of your silhouette challenges to my personal Twitter at BARMANII_. That is Barmani_. Please send silhouette challenges and busted challenges, ladies only. So my personal DM.
Let it be known.
Let it be known.
I actually want to say this to the fucking guys that are doing these challenges. Bro, it's kind of disturbing to have a fit on in the background music is bust it, or lay your head on my shoulder. And you hear that and you think you want to just change clothes or you want to take your clothes off.
Like, want to partake in that type of thing.
Like, come on, bro. Like, you can't even think that shit cool. So I want to send you a message on behalf of the Problematic Gentlemen. Cut that shit out, bro. As my nigga B said, and as my nigga 50 said,
this for the bitches, nigga. Thank you. And really quick before we go, because I know Joe probably want to say something too. But ladies, I know it's been a pretty rough 2 weeks for y'all on social media. But you cannot complain about men over sexualizing and engage in these over sexualizing challenges.
Very valid.
You make your bed and you lie.
Very valid.
You play stupid games. You get stupid prizes. Take it away, my black brother.
Y'all actually ended that well. It's not much of a tidbit that I can drop. All I'm gonna tell you is the Washington Wizards dropped 149 points on the Brooklyn Nets tonight. That nigga Mike Buggy to show his shrug. You see it? He was like,
I wanted to be like, but they won. But they lost, so I can't.
So, ladies and gentlemen, like I said, I want to thank y'all. I want to thank y'all for, tuning in. Faithfully, those who continue to watch us and support us, we love y'all. We appreciate y'all. We want to keep working and bring this thing to the top. Until next time, motherfuckers.
Yeah.